Hey, fantastic. Hello, everyone. Super happy to connect with you in this new container. Today, we are super lucky to have Djai, a Timewaver specialist who underwent the long training. And we're going to have a question and answer, a little bit of a deep dive on HEALY Timewaver and some questions that the whole HEALY community has today. So first, let me introduce you, Djai. We got in touch because you know actually my wife since before the story of HEALY, and I was really happy to connect with you recently, and we had a high resonance all the way leading to now. You are working with Timewaver for a number of years now. You're going to be able to explain to us your story, your background. What I want to say is that all of my interactions with Djai have been of a high level of understanding of the technologies and the frequencies. And I tried his special concoctions, his special programs, and they're amazing. So leading up to now, welcome, Djai.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, maybe a nice little introduction about myself. And first of all, guys, I want you to say you're very lucky with Thomas. He's a very talented, very gifted guy in understanding this science because, you know, it's always, we're still swimming in this ocean of endless possibilities and what this technology could mean for us. But so my name is Djai. Some people call me also DJ when I work abroad. I'm a student in osteopathy. I'm also now being trained in electrical engineering and physics. My company is called the School of Frequency, so I focus on helping people using phenomena like electromagnetism and other frequencies to work with their health. So in a way, I work very I want things like this being easy to reach for people, but at the same time, you know, that the technicalities and the things that I could create myself within this big library of frequencies is very amazing. So yeah, I think like most of you, I struggled with a lot of issues and symptoms. With frequency, I got to cure myself, heal myself. And yeah, I've been making some very interesting programs since the last 2 years. I treated approximately over 750 people just with HEALY and Timewaver. And yeah, for the many situations that we're dealing with right now, also globally, frequency has a lot of beautiful solutions. So let's get into that.
Love it. Thank you for this introduction. So I think what we would like to start with before we deep dive into more technical aspects of Timewaver is what is your take, your understanding of how frequency can revolutionize the medical space, but also the wellness space in general? Your personal opinion.
Yeah, well, it's like the perfect support system of anything you like to achieve. Imagine you're working with nutrition, some naturopathic medicine. You know, you work with Chinese herbs or other remedies. Anything you want to increase the efficiency of your treatments, even massage, acupuncture, microcurrent frequencies, right? That is a part that can enhance all these effects. And then on the other hand, because you know we'll dive into this, but there are two things that a HEALY can do. Is that remote treatment that is purely based on charge frequencies, that is the information field. And on the other hand, you have that healthy electricity. These are two different things. The essence and the power is really in just the frequencies themselves, in what information that they can carry into our bioenergetic fields. And this, yeah, whatever you do in your life, frequency can only make it better. Yeah.
Love it, love it. We're both frequency nerds, so I love to be able to have this discussion. All right, so I think what would be interesting to start with, because all of us are probably starting to be experienced with HEALY, but not so much with Timewaver. Can you explain to us a little bit what Timewaver has or can do that the HEALY cannot, because it was chosen to be this way for good reasons?
Yeah. So, okay, you have Timewaver frequency device, okay, because there's a difference. Timewaver has many different modules and versions and different devices. If you've seen the recent webinar of Nuno Nina talking about his gold frequencies, he also was talking about Timewaver Home. This is sort of a big version of a HEALY. It has a little bit more sophisticated technology, just a range of frequencies that it can reach. But Timewaver frequency and HEALY is actually the same. They have the same technology, but the way you can modify and you can dive into the library of frequencies, the possibilities of also making your own microcurrent frequencies, that is something that only the Timewaver frequency device can do. And HEALY is like the mini version, the simple version. You already have your recipes here, your pre-designed programs. And in the Timewaver frequency, you can select and modify everything yourself, make your own programs, and have a bigger range of frequencies. Now, what the Timewaver can do for HEALY, this is very interesting, is that it can give that bigger range of frequencies access to people with HEALY. So let's say your microcurrent frequency access is right now around 144,000 frequencies. I can expand it up to over 200,000, 250,000 different frequencies. And yeah, that is basically the big difference.
Nice, makes sense. We can't have everything in the miniaturized version. There is one thing that you showed me in the past in a more private setup. I think it would be relevant for everyone. If you can share your screen and show us what happens on the Timewaver interface when someone is receiving a HEALY program in microcurrents with the scanning and the change every 10 seconds, so that we have a better grasp of what's happening in the HEALY.
Yeah, can you, I need to share my screen, but you need to allow me.
There you go.
Okay, beautiful. And there we go. Okay, so everyone sees here this is my Timewaver home screen.
Nice.
So quick run through, right? Just like every HEALY, I also have a client database. Here I have myself now as the user. I have all the ladies, the gents, the family, my friends. I have everything ordered here. It's all in a different way. Now let's have a look at the databases, right? This is where you see the big library of frequencies I have access to. Now you see here the frequencies of Nuno Nina. You see 141,821,000 frequencies. These are the gold frequencies Nuno Nina has access to, right? Or Nuno Nina has made and put into this device. He probably has much more frequencies now, as he discussed in the webinar. He talked into the millions, and that is, yeah, so he has been definitely progressing. And yeah, so Nuno Nina is just one of the guys, one of the pioneers in frequencies who created his own frequency list. Just like Royal Rife did in 1932. Here you have the Rife frequencies. All of these frequency databases have been categorized per ailment, per disease, per symptom. And the list is very long, as you can see. Now, just for your information, if you look at right in Nuno Nina, he has the biggest database in the world. I haven't found a bigger one. If you go to pulsedfrequencies.com, you can find some interesting frequency lists that have been developed over the last 100 years from different people. But Nuno Nina definitely has the biggest. You see how far the list extends of possibilities. You even see names that you won't understand, like I'm medically trained. Still for me, I see names I didn't. But you see here, for instance, on a little document here, a file with 40 frequencies, says for DNA repair. Interesting. So for DNA repair, Nuno Nina selected 40 frequencies that are relevant. That's very interesting. I mean, just think, how did this guy come up with that? Nuno Nina is described for his gift to just see frequencies that are good for certain purposes. If you would sit in this practice, he would just look at you and know instantly what frequencies will be good for you. And so when I make a program and you would come to me and you say, hey, can you make a program for chemical sensitivity? You know, I have either these allergies, or every time when I eat this food or I come in touch with this certain chemical, my body has this reaction. Then I would say like, hey, yes, I actually have frequencies for chemical sensitivity. To be accurate here, it's 14 I have. And what I then do, I make an automation here to the left. And I would just create a new program, and I would call it then, let's say, chemical sensitivity. And I would select this little database of 14 frequencies. I will put it in as a indication phase. Right? I'm going to get very technical here right now, but I'm just going to run through it. It's going to make sense. Right? I'm going to put here my settings to the way I want to put it. And now I'm going to look for that chemical sensitivity database. Here we got it. And so I select it. When I select it, it's now put into this indication phase of 9 minutes. It will take 9 minutes for these selected frequencies to saturate, right? We're going to get into that later more. The Healy's focus on microcurrent is to saturate the frequencies into your, in your cellular bodies. And it's going to select 3 top frequencies from these 14 frequencies we've seen in that little database, okay? So Healy's default setting is always to just come up with the 3 most relevant that come to closest to the 100% relevance resonance selection. It will select it and it will try to saturate it. So that's where you see in the top bottom, in the bottom of your little circle. When it runs, you see a minus 85%, and it wants to saturate it all the way up to 100. You could also see 35%, and it wants to saturate it all to the 100. So when you see these percentages, you know you're in an indication phase. You're working with a very specific database, and this is how it looks like. This is basically how we would make it. Now, I am a sort of a chef. I'm a cook. I'm cooking. I'm making my own meals here of frequencies, and I can share that with people. Healy is doing the same. So Healy has their own kitchen. I have my own. We don't know what recipes, what we're using to create our programs, but at least I, as a Timewaver practitioner, can tell you what I put into them. And if you are curious what is in my programs, well, it depends on what you order. If you go to the symptom programs, right, where you come to me for whatever your glaucoma, you see here gout, even hay fever, anything, I just guarantee everyone, I selected all the frequencies in my database from gold, from the healing frequencies, from right frequencies. That is what I guarantee, and that is the best I can give, because that's also how I stay away from claims, right? To describe not all too much about what is in it. How's that first step going? Are we all doing fine?
Everybody's muted and they cannot unmute themselves for the quality of the recording, but we will assume that they can follow, because it's good to have a little bit of a technical discussion when we talk about Healy. So the key takeaway that I understand here you want to transmit to us is that a Healy program will work in increments of sets of frequencies, and the goal, let's say, to pass to the next set of frequency is that your body, your being, is saturated in a specific frequency level. Is that correct? You're muted, Djai. You want me to unmute you, maybe? Okay, let me see. Try now?
Yeah. Sorry, that was
it's the censorship of the microphones.
yeah. Yeah, correct. You're trying to work up to a saturation level with the microcurrent, right? And it always picks the highly relevant plus 100 the plus percentage of the frequencies. Yeah.
Great. Can you show us how it works when you run a program? If it's possible to see in the interface, the frequencies being scanned for their individual level of saturation?
Yeah.
Nice.
So this also happens with your HEALY. Let me see, endocrine balance here. I'm going to start a program called Endocrine Balance. This is a very good program, a popular program also. For your information, it activates all the glands in the body. It is very healthy for you to work on the... Oh, my screen sharing has stopped. What's that? Oh, wait.
Should be able to
My
pop it back.
Timewaver machine just stopped. It will get on soon. But so, as I said, it's your HEALY selects 3 top frequencies, and then it wants to saturate that. Now you have 3 phases, right? And you might be familiar with this. You've heard of the real-time phase, a resonance phase, and the indication phase. So the real-time phase is the only phase where you don't see a percentage appearing on the bottom of your circle in your screen. This means that you're in the general application of Timewaver, where it picks a frequency with the quantum sensor every 10 seconds, because the frequencies change every 10 seconds, under 1,000 hertz. Now imagine that, like, why 1,000 hertz? Because they say that under 1,000 hertz, you're in the physical stimulation frequencies. And this quantum sensor, every 10 seconds, it picks just a new frequency. It's randomized, but it's individualized, right? The quantum sensor can only pick what really suits your bioenergetic field in the moment. And it starts to apply that. So the first frequency might be 111 hertz. The second frequency might be 299, and the next frequency is 377. Just to give you an example. It will scan your body every 10 seconds for the most relevant frequency under 1,000 hertz. And most of the time, then you go to the resonance phase. This is where most Timewaver treatments are based upon.
So just to sum up, this is the reason why when we start a HEALY program, we have the lower frequencies at the beginning, because there's a preset phase that first starts to work under 1,000 hertz, and it will scan you to find within that range the most relevant frequency, so with the highest resonance, and then send them to you. And then it enters another phase. Can you repeat the names of this?
Yes. So the next phase is the resonance phase, and that is where you you see a percentage, and it's still randomized. It is selecting a 3 frequencies from below 1,000 hertz, and these 3 frequencies will be then applied to the body, looking again for the saturation. So the real-time phase is not saturation, right? It is just giving you randomized frequencies. And if you have 10 minutes of real time, it means 10 times 6 frequencies per minute. So 60 frequencies in 10 minutes you are receiving randomly, unique frequencies. In the resonance phase, it uses the time to saturate just 3 frequencies, but a little bit less, randomized, really carefully selected. And then, until the resonance phase is over. Then often they go to the indication phase, and I already explained on that. You select databases. There are databases in the program, and so if I click here, now you see my screen, right? I'm screen sharing. acne relief, this program. The first phase in this program is the real time, and we see it there in the screen. 893 hertz, next one 624 hertz. Real time, not saturating, just sending. I also hope you see my smaller screen.
Yeah, we see the smaller one too.
Yeah,
so the real time is more of a cocktail of frequencies depending on the resonance that are being identified, but it doesn't cycle between different frequencies. It just sends you one time each frequency as a little bit of a tuner for your field until it enters a second phase, which is more specific. And if I understand correctly, it will cycle between 1, 2, 3 frequencies until you reach the saturation level for each frequency.
With the real time, you said?
Yes, for the second, for the second phase, the resonance phase.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The resonance, correct. That's absolutely correct. And so you see the remaining time with the real time is now 2 minutes 50. You've seen the list of frequencies that came by. It is general, right? The purpose of this program, the real time phase, is to treat everything, to just sort of warm up the body before you prime it for specific frequencies. Indications and resonance time is the specific frequencies.
Mm-hmm. So waiting for it to be over this phase, can you comment on the impedance graphs just for fun?
The impedance graphs.
Is the two graphs that we could see. Unless
you that's just the Timewaver keeping track of the conductivity of the body. So you see, for instance, now below it says current flow insufficient. That makes sense because I do not have my electrodes attached.
Yeah.
You see here the level of strength. It says 50%. I can adjust and modify, but only if I would break it or stop it. But you now see it is in an indication phase, right? And it selected the different frequencies to send.
Yeah.
But yeah, the graph below, it doesn't, it's not really relevant to look at. It might be interesting, but it's just keeping track of that conductivity of the body and the different wavelengths that it accepts.
Great.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's kind of the indication of the black circle when the HEALY cannot detect that the body is conductive enough.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the black circles with the HEALY, it's only yes and no. It is conductive. They are signaling the conductivity of the body or not. At the same time, with HEALY, it's sometimes a bit confusing because you know, if it's a black circle, doesn't mean it's not working. You should just feel the current a bit. And if you're working with the HEALY coil, yeah, the conductivity is going to be very different related to your body. So I always say just don't really focus too much on the circle. Just yeah.
Depending if you feel the current passing or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you feel the current, it's working.
All right, and then the indication phase. So the third phase is more of a specific cocktail of list. How does it work? Is it also circling between certain frequencies, or is it more like the first one?
Which phase you said?
So you said there's a first phase of real time where you receive randomized frequencies below 1,000 hertz. Then a second phase where it's a specific saturation-based model where you move through until you're saturated. And then can you expand a little bit what's happening in the indication phase?
Indication phase, yeah. Okay, so here, what's it doing? Okay, yeah, that was a very quick demo. You saw the screen doing all these things and a little bit of an analysis. So it did a quick analysis with the quantum sensor on the first top 3 frequencies it's going to use. Let me open up the screen here. Here's 3 gold frequencies on thrombosis, right? And it selected these frequencies with the highest relevance. Let's see. This relevance brought us to the top one is 96% at least. These frequencies it's going to saturate. You can follow the progress analysis here on the right. You see in this sense how good the body is taking in the frequencies. It is being saturated with it. And the difference between the plus 36% versus the minus 26% is where it needs to work up from. It's like a ladder, and where you start on that ladder. One frequency might be very conductive in your body, very well accepted. So it starts on maybe 46%, and then it just wants to work it up to 100. When it goes to the minus, it's further down on the ladder, and you have to take more steps to bring it up. So these, just these frequencies, you see, it's being working on right now. Timewaver will be a bit confused because I'm not attached to the electrodes, so the percentages of the progress analysis will go all the way, will go all over the place. But at the same time, Timewaver also works remotely through just the bioenergetic field, so it is making a connection with me, and right now I'm feeling something.
So can we talk about this progress as the level of integration of a particular frequency for the program being?
Yeah, it's this level of progress. This is the saturation level, right?
So
your
can we
goal
say
is
that
100%.
100% saturation would
goal.
mean we received as much frequency as we could handle in our bioenergetic field for now?
Electric charge. It's like when the battery is fully charged, why leave it in the plug? Why leave it in the so that's where the HEALY and the microcurrent technology is stopping to feed you. But this is beyond the quantum sense, right? This is just the another mechanism that just senses electricity coming in at one point, giving a feedback loop, and then feeling or noticing, hey, this is enough of the charge I want to give, so I stop.
Great, so exciting. I don't know if everybody's excited like me. You guys can start to put some questions if you want in the chat. We already have a certain list, but if you have some things popping up, I will moderate that. Wow,
So
interesting.
I share one thing that I find very exciting? And yeah, so there's one thing that the Timewaver frequency has, and the HEALY has not. But I made it possible after some studying to make this possible for HEALY, and it's called the Spinal Treatment Module. Here you see a vertebral column in the Timewaver frequency system, and it's basically saying that for every vertebrae there are frequencies, and you can apply the electrodes on the spine directly to have an overall healthy effect for the body. And it's like treating the body through the spine. Very generally, it's not for like, this program is not specifically for people with spine issues. It could be for anyone, but it's such a beautiful, interesting module. I mean, you see here what it says on the cervical 2 vertebrae. You see what this vertebrae with its nerve branches is connected to the body areas, to the body parts. To, if you have a symptom, you could work through this area and work on the body part where it needs to go to. So let me just share screen, hopefully, to soon I will show later. Anyway, where's my Timewaver device?
Can you show us what's related to the tailbone and the sacrum, out of curiosity?
Yeah.
Such an important part.
Yeah. The tailbone?
Yes.
Yeah. So I have a program I sell on my website. It's called Spinal Treatment. It is the exact same module you will find here on the Timewaver frequency device, and you can just apply your electrodes with your HEALY. And this program, it's just 20 minutes, and it's cheap to just place it along the spine. And this program can do so many things. It's so interesting. If you just grab an anatomy book and you look at how these nerve branches from your vertebral column it is very interesting what you can create with that. So here you see it, for instance, the body is also divided into dermatomes, into through the vertebral segments. It connects to these areas of the body. So if you place an electrode along a specific vertebral segment, it will go to that specific area of the body you see here.
So it's a way to direct the frequencies in a more specific way, because there's a biological channel already open through the nervous system. Wow.
Yeah. And so here you see another list of all the frequencies that also belong to the specific vertebral segment. You see what it connects to which body part, and for what a symptom or thing you could use it for. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's just a nice thing I like to share, that this is another way how we could use HEALY and to explore in the world of frequencies what these microcurrents could mean for your body. Yeah. Okay. So any specific questions right now, or should we go into the blue app resonance style Timewaver frequency?
Let me check.
Yeah.
Yes, we had a question. Maybe you could comment.
Yeah.
If I'm scanning myself on Materia Medica, for example, and I'm finding that for a specific substance, I have a high resonance. I got a question regarding, can we interpret or make a diagnosis? You know, does it mean if I have a high resonance with a substance that it's in deficiency in my body and I need to put more, or that I have too much, for example, calcium?
Yeah, okay, so this is a very good question. And this is where you should it's good to talk about how to interpret things, and when HEALY becomes a diagnostic tool versus a supplementary dowser. Okay, now what I'm about to share here, and most of the things I share, ladies and gentlemen, is of course me as a Timewaver practitioner, as my unique perspective on things. How I would explain this is like, when you diagnose with HEALY and you want to create a holistic picture of what's going on right now for you in the moment, you need to gather data. So you scan all these HEALY programs lists with, for instance, meridians and bioenergetic harmony and revitalization, whatever, and you see this data, and from that whole picture that you see, you're trying to braid this story, right? And then come up with your own HEALY protocol after that. Now, to come with this diagnosis and to gather this data, it's handy to have some knowledge or some background in holistic medicine. But other than that, you could use a pendulum to navigate what information and what things are really relevant for you to look at. But when you look at remedies, when you look, and I'm sharing my screen here now with the Timewaver, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Yeah, you see, I basically have most of the same things you have in your remedy databases. I have here the Bach flowers, right? The chakras, the fatty acids, you know, the minerals, the Schuster cell salts. You see, the thing is, I can just select them here by manually and apply them. But when you select them, it's HEALY is like a dowser, and you should not use it for diagnosis all that much, because they give you a standard description with it, and it can give you some symptoms or some diagnosis in it, but it might not be relevant to what's really going on. So that's where you are just a dowser, and HEALY says, okay, these are the top 5 remedies you could use from the database I have right here. I can only give you these 5 frequencies, these 5 remedies, and that's it. And so you at least know, if I want to work with Bach flowers, these top 5 Bach flowers are now mostly relevant to me, and the percentage is just saying of how much your body says in a way, I need this. This has to do with scalar waves. Hopefully in a minute we might dive a little bit into that, but eventually the purpose of it is always, it wants to help your field, your bioenergetic field, to increase its charge distribution so much better, right? That's the goal. And with the remedies, it can give you that the intelligence of a plant spirit or a homeopathic remedy to increase your field in that sense. So you shouldn't think in these deficiencies or overload. It shouldn't be used as that, because there are other modalities within bioresonance and naturopathic medicine that can more accurately determine that. I hope this makes sense.
Yes, love it. Do you think you can comment on a term you keep using? Explain to us what you mean by the charge distribution, as it seems that it's the goal to reach.
Yeah, beautiful. Let me see if I can screen share this. We're just gonna dive straight into this. What I'm about to share with you, this is the new physics we're trying to understand, right? I like when Timewaver or Marcus Smeeke is talking about the information field, it is quite a vague concept. It is still abstract. You can use the word information field and particles, all that you want, but for me, it doesn't make it clear when you don't understand the mechanics behind it. So let's discover scalar waves. Okay, they say the quantum sensor is working with scalar waves. Who invented a big part of the quantum sensor? It's called, this guy is called Kozyrev. And let me grab my internet page. This Mr. Kozyrev just, let me see. Oh yeah, here we go. You see this? This guy, Kozyrev, the Kozyrev's mirror. This is one part of the quantum sensor that is a very small version of the Kozyrev's mirror. This guy used to make it in a big version with specific metals, but eventually aluminum, sort of a coil-shaped thing. And if you would stand in it, you would amplify this astral travel, telepathic communication with the universe, basically. They even use this in the military to have accurate remote viewings. Now, this guy, he discovered what he called scalar fields. And he said this is the communicative tool of the universe to communicate with itself, with the planets. And so how does a scalar field look like? In physical, in the terms in physics, we call this a phase conjugate longitudinal wave array. And this is how it looks like. We all know this symbol. It looks like a caduceus, two vortexes spinning into each other. And it's as if two pine cones are kissing noses. Now, this is how it should look like, right? This is a perfect charged particle, part of a quark, whatever, and it's balanced and it's perfect. Yeah, it's doing perfect charge distribution, because the goal in the universe, everything is rotating, everything is moving, everything is fractal, everything is is bound to this vorticity. And if you look at this, what I show you, this is a healthy, perfected state of, and it also generates coherence for us. Now, if this quantum sensor is scanning for these scalar fields, you could say it is looking for these pine cones that are in defect. And so then how do these percentages work? Right, this is my hypothesis. If you look at percentages, either minus or 100, or between 0 and 100%, and even when they go into minus, you might be looking at a different part of this wave or these vortices moving into each other. And so my hypothesis is you're looking for the broken pine cones. And so what is a pine cone when it's broken? What pine cone needs restoration? Maybe it means that if you have here on the left a wave a pattern where, yeah, a part of the pine cone is missing, it might say on your Healy it's 54%. And your Healy, by default, just wants to fix it. Because the goal of your blue app resonance is to support the body step by step. Just these are little steps to increase its charge distribution. When it does that, the problem behind it will resolve itself. It will just vanish because the energy is flowing again, whether it's a mental thing, right, based on your thoughts, or emotional or spiritual. It all comes down eventually to pine cones. And when you scan for your Healy programs with the where all the hertzes are in, so anything you can scan in your blue app that says Healy program, like Healy Fitness, Healy Meridian, Healy Bioenergetic Harmony, etc., you work with hertz. Okay, these are just single frequencies, and it basically means one pine cone at a time. When you work with remedies and, you know, the spirit of a flower, it covers so many pine cones. It is like a whole story in itself. It is like a bath for your auric body. And but with the hertzes, you're trying to pinpoint and to throw these acupuncture needles, really specific. So whatever these pine cones are doing, whenever they are distorted, you're trying to restore it. So the goal is that it looks eventually like this. It's perfect, and around it you have this perfect field of what I would now call, yeah, it's sort of it contains of plasma. It is just perfect charge distribution, and that means healing. And this is what the benefits are of scalar wave repair. Okay, it repairs. It's directly connected to your DNA. Our DNA are fractal. They are themselves actually just scalar waves. They're not even physical. When you repair it, you detox of pathogens and chemicals, you eliminate acute and chronic pain. This is all proven. It restores the vital force. It restores the cell through treating its membrane, heavy metal elimination, enhancing healing process. This is not microcurrent again. These are just the scalar waves, but when you're using microcurrent, you're having just an extra benefit to it. And scalar waves are always part of this work. So HEALY Timewaver with the pink app, you're improving function through electrical potential brought into the nervous system. This is microcurrent with scalar effects on each cell membrane. And yeah, if the cell is a puzzle, what puzzle piece needs to be restored, right? This is a cell. It has all these puzzle pieces, all these, yeah, different electrical potentials with also the pine cones just sort of sitting there. And then your Healy, when you do your resonance and you scan, it might pick up on one specific pine cone on the cell membrane. And you get a percentage there, maybe minus 86% or plus 86%. Healy mostly works actually only in the plus. It finds it in a liver database, right? You see in your Healy Meridians program, liver comes up 86%. And the hertz is 3,722, just to give you an example. It wants to then bring it up to the plus 100%, the saturation in microcurrent. And with the Blue Healy app, you just want to fix that little puzzle piece over there. So you influence the cellular metabolism in the whole system eventually, right? If it's a liver cell with a liver frequency, eventually your whole liver will be influenced, but slowly, step by step. So yeah, this is the physics story behind what we're doing. Actually, I think eventually, I hope you understand this a little bit. But if you go into electrical engineering, this is essential to understand.
Fantastic.
Does this make sense?
Maybe we could stop sharing and come back to the discussion, as this was technical for everyone. And of course, the question is going to be, because we started to touch upon it, what are the benefits of using the microcurrents and the resonance? and how we can use both together in order to create more harmony. Could you comment on this complementary quality between the approach?
Good. Yeah, so my goal is how can you increase efficiency with Healy by understanding Timewaver. Now I'm gonna do here a main analysis with my Timewaver Blue app. I'm scanning myself now, my bioenergetic field. I'm doing this analysis with these selected databases, and it's gonna come up with relevant frequencies, right? With Healy, you can only scan, let me enlarge the screen. You can only scan for the top 5 frequencies, correct? You will only see top 5 frequencies, but I can select so many more. I can go all the way down to the thousands of frequencies in these databases that are available. I can go all the way down even to the minus percentages here, but that's not relevant, not for this technical understanding. And so I can send all of these frequencies to myself. I hope you see my little screen there. I can select my time here. And if I'm having here 100, well, let's see how many frequencies I actually have here now. I have over 182 frequencies to send to myself, knowing that every frequency needs gets 7 seconds every time to be stimulated. Okay, so what is 180 times 7 seconds? Well, I'm not good at math at this time in the morning, so I'm gonna save that. But I know it's gonna take, like, let's say, I need 2 hours for that to give at least 2 cycles. So you all have these same times, right, in your Healy. And this is where it might be a bit confusing for Healy users. You will never use these times to apply your 5 frequencies to yourself or anyone else. That is, I would suggest other things. When you work with the Blue app and you send frequencies, and you work with the hertzes, right, with the Healy meridians, with the Healy bioenergetic balance lists, it might be more efficient to just go for 1 minute 20, and a couple times per day, 3 to 4 times per day, you apply that same list. Now, this is a tip I give you, right? Just try this. You grab 2 lists maximum per day, and let's say the meridians 1 and 2. You scan this list at the beginning of the day, and for 1 minute 20, you just roll the frequencies that come up. Later in the day, you repeat the same cycle. You can scan a new list of meridians 1 and 2, or you can grab the old list from that morning. But what you're doing then is giving yourself acupuncture, and you're giving it throughout the day, which means that because our bodies are not the same throughout the day in their cycles, you sort of direct your own energy into a healthy direction with acupuncture through the meridians on these focused on different moments of the day. This can be very effective, and I've gotten the most results with this in my practice working with the hertz. Okay, and so this is a tip I like to give you. Play around with it. Maximum 1 minute 20, couple of times per day with the Healy program lists. But when you work with remedies, and that's what you see here in the screen share, I have here a couple of remedies. They might want to use more time because these are different information fields. I want to use more time, and I'm going to do max 12 minute 40 for 5 frequencies that I have with the Healy, right? Just
okay. So I would like simply to comment on the first. For everyone, just to refocus the discussion, where we have 2 different types of frequencies to send. There's the Healy ones that are hertz, 43 hertz, 1000 and so on. And they're called Healy something. And then you have wider range of morphogenetic fields, which Djai calls remedy. So back flowers, elixirs, and so on, which are not hertz, which are big packages of hertz with many more things. So the advice here is to When we use HEALY programs, so when we scan with the blue app and then we want to vibrate a HEALY list, we can use simply 1 minute and 20 seconds because, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Djai, because we will only receive the top frequency of each category. So for example, I scan meridian 1, I have the first meridian, the second, the third. When I vibrate, it will only send me the one frequency that is at the top of the first meridian, and then later the top frequency of the second, and so on.
Correct, correct. And that also means it's so specific that with the blue app, it doesn't say that a program is good for you. When you scan, for instance, and you see your liver, your HEALY liver program comes up high as even 90%. It doesn't necessarily mean that the liver program is best for you, but that liver frequency is. And so working with the Blue Resonance app, it might be more effective for you to apply those frequency or that frequency 1 minute 20 at a time, a couple of times per day.
Yeah.
But it for your diagnostic tool, you might say, okay, my liver is asking for some attention. So the liver program might still be good for you, but it's not what the Blue Resonance app is really for, actually, to come up with such a conclusion.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense.
So within the liver program, you might have, I don't know, 20 frequencies that were identified by Nina as relevant. When we scan through the blue app, it will actually find the highest unique frequency within that liver package.
Yeah.
So, okay, so that's very important because we had some questions about that. When we vibrate the result of a scan of HEALY programs, we don't receive all the frequencies of that program. We just receive the top one. And because it takes 7 seconds to receive fully a frequency, and you have 5 results, 1 minute is enough to have received sufficient amount of each frequency. And I suppose if you choose to put it for 30 minutes, it will simply saturate much earlier, and then it's like it's doing nothing. It continues to send a frequency that is already saturated. So it's kind of like wasted time, right?
Yeah, it's not necessary. Yeah, it's and I don't know also how we don't know if we can overdose on this, right? We're in the biggest experiment humanity has with frequency, and we're all part of it. Try to overdose yourself with the Blue HEALY Resonance app. I hardly managed myself to do that because it's so perfectly distributive, these information fields. But just imagine, right? If you scan for this highest relevant liver frequency, it might have been selected out of 1,000 microcurrent frequencies out there. So it's so specific, and so yeah. If you work with the blue app, I already gave my suggestions there. The pink app, in this sense, if you want to work therapeutically with it, and I can tell you from experience, the best clients I have in my practice with the most results, they use their intuition mixed with their holistic modality or knowledge theories behind it. To work with the pink app, because to determine what program is best for you is it can be determined very differently than using the blue app. You can I'm still a big fan of that. Just go to your blue app resonance, scan to what program might be very relevant for you right now, but it's not always the case. A very interesting question for you to use on this in this situation, if you have your pink HEALY app, you have all these programs, and you ask the question, what program can I use to resolve my primary dysfunction? Because we're here in the field of increasing charge distribution, but in this sense, to improve the function there where it has dysfunction. Imagine that our systems in our body, our organs, some of them might be in dysfunction. And when electricity comes in, the microcurrent comes in, it just wants to improve the function. That's where it's gone, where it can. So if that's your question, your focus, your intent field can then show you exactly what program is mostly relevant for that. And the blue app might not always be your best friend in this sense, right?
Mhm.
I'm really talking here just from experience, so take it or leave it. But I've seen it with other people too. You would come across, you can use a pendulum for this, right? You could come across very interesting programs that you would never expect to apply yourself in the situation where you have a shoulder pain, but you run the program and the shoulder pain is gone, right? What your intuition wants to show you in this sense can be magical. And this is, of course, a story of becoming more resonant and more coherent, of where, yeah, it can show you beautiful things. Yeah.
This is so amazing. I'm drinking your wisdom there, and it really answers some key questions that everybody has been having. So here, to sum up, if you use the blue app to scan yourself, it will be extremely specific, sending you one top frequency of each result. And this would be enough to send it a minute, 20 seconds, several times per day. If you want to work on a more holistic approach, meaning to address a certain dysfunction, you should use a better quantum sensor, which is your intuition or your feeling, and you will develop that over time the more you use the pink app programs.
Yes.
Now, to come back to a specific topic, in the blue app, when you use non-Healy programs, for example, the back flowers, the elixir, and so on, because they are not one frequency, they are a whole package of frequency, it will take longer to be integrated into your field. So we advise, so here you don't advise specifically to say 12 minutes or 24. Again, you will probably feel when it's enough, or ask your intuition how much you need to send it. But you won't send it for a very short amount of time because it will probably not be enough to transmit the entire information.
Just to confirm that, so 12 minute 40 is my suggested maximum, because you just have 5 frequencies, right? 5 frequencies, each one of them has 7 seconds. 12 minute 40 is sufficient for the saturation. And it's like with the remedies, you drink a remedy and it sits in your stomach there for maybe 12 minutes. That's how you use the blue app. With the hertzes in the HEALY program list with the blue app, it's acupuncture, and it's like throwing darts. And when you throw the dart, it just sits there for a very small while. You take the dart back and you go to a next one. That's how you want to work. And when you go to the pink app, it's like going to a spa, having a massage for 1 hour. This whole area, maybe the large intestine meridian, is being perfectly aligned and massaged, and its relativity of the organ also changes compared to the other systems in your body, but it's specifically for that structure. So you want to be specific one day, also to what massage do I really need right now? That's the question. But it's definitely a difference in how you perceive that.
So cool. I think we're not going to go deeper into the details because it's already 1 hour and we have a couple more things we want to see. So maybe you can stop sharing your screen and we can come back to the group discussion. I just have here a couple of questions that wanted to be answered by you. First one, if somebody is allergic to a certain substance or is taking a medication and there's a contraindication for another substance, can we vibrate that substance in the being? Is it going to be a problem since it's not physical or not? Could you comment on that?
Very good question, but the answer is very simple. Until the results prove otherwise, but you cannot be allergic to these charged frequencies that come through the information field. Really, let me know if you found a person who is. If you might be allergic to a medicine, a remedy, when it's information field, it is immediately accepted by that part of the cell membrane, and when it's not, it just throws it out. But you can only have allergic reactions or these inflammatory activity towards the physical substances that are from a certain wavelength. and we are beyond that wavelength, right? We are much higher and subtle, much more subtle. So don't worry about that. Good question.
Fantastic. Then we had one about, is it possible and how would you do it to program into the Healy Blue app an audio file or a mantra or a frequency in the musical form with the Healy?
Yes, absolutely. Go for it, play with it, try it. I can also do it here with the Timewaver. The technology works the same. Even a picture, even if you have a, pictures also work very, very well to edit. But yeah, also with, what is it, Paul? Tonegenerator.com. If, for instance, 40 hertz works very well against inflammation, and you want to create that single frequency, have a make a picture of something inflammatory, possible. Make an audio of 40 hertz with a tone generator, and write down the 40 hertz manually in the Blue app or analysis, and then run it like that. It's always best to build up the layers of information, and then that file will be transmuted to you.
Nice. Okay. And then last question I had here is, why can't we find any Healy Pink app program regarding hearing or ears? Is it something forgotten, or can you comment on that?
Good question. I'm interested. Like, why not? Like, that's why all the people come to me with, do we have a program for hearing loss? I have the frequency, so I don't understand why they don't, or why Healy hasn't made such a nice frequency meal in their own kitchen.
Yes.
But maybe they did it because they quickly you go into medical claims. I don't know. Yeah, why not create a program for ears?
Nice. So to conclude, we will have, of course, other discussions, and you guys can send us your question. I think it's enough content.
Yeah.
I would love to ask you, Djai, if you can share some of your top 3 own concoction, your own proprietary programs, because in this co-creation we have together, we will have them as a preferred price. So I wanted to know if you could show us maybe your top 3 or 4 programs that are having great effects for your clients.
Very nice. I'm going to share my screen again, so people can go to my website, schooloffrequency.com. You can email me, contact me anytime, schooloffrequency@gmail.com. I'm very prompt and quick normally when I answer, but in the weekends, sometimes I have to take some time off. And Monday to Wednesday, I am studying osteopathy. So I will always get back to people. Just know sometimes things take time. But when you go to my shop, here I have all my specialized frequency programs. Something for nourishment, right? You can look at mineral grounding, brain motivation, probiotic youthing, very healthy, good program. You find the spinal treatment we talked about. You find it there, spinal model.
What's your bestseller?
My bestseller, yes. So my bestseller is probably now, and let's call it, right, we know what we're talking about from here on, and I'm not making any claims here. I just want you to know that frequency has many solutions, okay? So virus 19, we know what we're talking about. 3 programs. For your recovery phase, when you got that spike protein into your body and it got a little nasty, good for recovery during the symptoms and after. Shedding, shielding, we probably know many people right now that have been taking the jab and they either got some side effects, but this effect that the body wants to throw out the harmful substances that have been injected through. I have too many clients who have been noticing the harmful effects from that, right? The people who didn't take it. And the reason why I want to show you these 3 programs, because here you have the final one below there, is that a doctor with a clinic works with my programs. She applies these programs to all of her clients, and 80 to 90% of the people who use it, they find some relief. This could be an extreme relief or lightly, but the doctor says this only shows and proves the effects of the injections and of the effect of the spike protein that might be more harmful for some people. So I of course I love to help people and I love to see people protected. I've had a friend recently. He also got the injection, and when he used this program you see here, some nasty shit came out of his body. He said, "Oh my God, your program works amazingly," but it was nasty to see what came out. Yeah, these are challenging times, and I just want to show you this, that there is help out there, and your Healy can do such an amazing job. Yeah, you can definitely get some protection. Bestseller for now, of course. Now, all the programs you see here, when you buy them in the shop, it's quite easy, right? You use the coupon code resonance frequencies 20. Maybe you can write it down in the chat, Thomas.
Yeah.
Resonance frequencies 20. That is your discount code for 20%. Thanks to Thomas. I'm really happy that you guys as a group can enjoy this. Enjoy it. Just take it. And then let's go to some other bestseller frequencies. Where, let me see. Yeah, you have, of course, some detox programs. I mean, we all know the heavy metal elements that are harmful to us today, the parasitic events, the some people have candida overgrowth. These programs can help very well. You can even confirm it with your bioresonance therapist. If you still visit one, they might confirm to you that things are decreasing. Nourishment challenge, one of my other favorites. Probiotic youthing, so healthy, like it, the intestinal wall, right? And my question was, can we put probiotics into microcurrent frequency? And then I just started to Google how do they look under a microscope. And when something has a specific shape and a form, it has a specific electrical frequency to it to provide that function. So I put these probiotic strains into a program, and some other skin healing frequencies also. Yeah, you can see what's in it. This is all I can say about it, right? No more
Already
claims
good.
on that.
Yeah.
But probiotic youthing has been shown very effective. Now the final one, and this is where frequency, the future of frequency, ladies and gentlemen, is still so many things still need to be discovered. I just created this new program, confidence coherence. And what is interesting is where I found a list of golden mean ratio frequencies. 20 frequencies that have been applied by an electrical engineer in France in the 1970s. He was looking for the perfect frequency remedy, and he was also working with a plasma device. Now, because of the technology in that time was, very limited, he needed to make a machine of 3 stories high. Okay, 3 stories high, and you could only lay under it as one person, as a single person. But he uses this very specific set of frequencies. I got this list and I looked at it and I experimented and I worked with it, and I noticed, and that's why I use the word confidence, because people have been asking for this. I noticed these frequencies cascade. This is bring your field into an harmonic convergence where it brings you back to your essence, to the brain wave of where you experience your coherence also. And the effect of that is so interesting if you apply this regularly. So I made this program with some other interesting frequencies that came from the other databases I have, but it's definitely worth a try, and it's part of the field enhancing frequencies, where these are more the spiritual nature. Abundance creation is by far the most popular program. I've been getting the most positive results from that from clients. I mean, it's magical. And to tell you the secret ingredient, I think, about abundance creation is that I put the planets for prosperity in it. There are 7 planets that have to do with the relationship of creating abundance, your relationship with your financial situation, but also feeling abundant. Yeah, it's very interesting. That's them showing me.
It's more than interesting, and I think everybody's super excited about your presentation and about your creations. I see in the chat everybody's happy. So I think we're gonna bring this to an end. I just want to remind everybody that if you want to receive these programs from Djai, order it on the website with our code, resonance frequencies 20, and you will need to have the therapeutic expert module in your HEALY activated so that Djai can send those programs once you buy them in your HEALY. And now it's a subscription. You can only have up to 12 for now. So don't go and buy 20 because you won't be able to receive them all and we're gonna have problems. So maximum 12 custom programs. I think this is fantastic. Thank you so much, Djai, for your knowledge, for your energy, for your explanations. So happy. I think this is going to be a great addition to the HEALY landscape and to our discussions. Everybody learned a lot, and I think we're going to even work better now with the frequencies for our own health. Do you want to conclude with something?
It's been a journey, guys. What a interesting, hopefully soon I'll get some social media things up because I'm normally too busy for that. But the School of Frequency is on full production mode, and hopefully to share more with you in the future. Yeah, here to help.
Yes, thank you for being part of this co-creation of this team. Blessings, everyone. Thank you for your attention. We'll send the recording on YouTube, and we'll put also the link for the website of Djai. You will find his email on the website, so we're not going to put too much information, the discount code, and you can contact him for specific help if you have a problem, an ailment in your body that you're struggling to address. He might have the recipe for it based on everything in the Timewaver and his own expertise. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Djai.
Beautiful. Mwah.